Ah, damn. Hey guys, we're gonna get going live here in a quick second. Get shareable link. And everyone are live on YouTube and X. Hey Tom, thanks for letting me know. I'll get going here in a second. Running a tad behind. That's all right. Twitter. Good morning, team. We are about to go through our pre-market prep. Here is the YouTube link. Also on X. Pew! We'll get going here at 9:25. We'll zip through it real quick. Now the opening bell is about to come up. Premarket Prep. We got the game plan up though, so y'all can give that a read too. Let's give this a marking. So we have, that's the direction. That is that. Yeah. And yeah, same spot for jump and stay there. Makes sense. Right there. Right there. Down, up, sideways, yellow, bam, 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 bam. Structure we will cover. Oh, wow. All right, cool. We can get going then. Posted what I needed to on Twitter, and that is that. All right, so getting started right. SPX is down at 68.99. Oh, it was called 6,900. Here's the 0 DTE zone. So bottom of our drunken tether range, 6,900, where we are right now. Top is 6,930. So let's just go ahead and mark those real quick. So we have, oh crap. Got my hotkeys, right? Take a day off and you forget the hotkeys. 6,900 there. Then we have 6,930. This is the top of the drunken tether range, top of DEX transition. Cool. Yeah, I mean, we can see really in the pre-market. Yeah, I mean, we've just been trading a lows, well above prior day low, all that good stuff. So yeah, flirting with the bottom of the DEX trend or drunken tether range, not a great spot to be. Yeah, let's just go through this real quick, right? So we have a ton of if-then statements, right? You guys can look at all of that. I'm just going to start where we are right now, 6,900, right? Livermore key level, a ton of, looking at the distribution and speculation. Obviously, you can see why it is the bottom of our drawn consider range. You can see it's a huge ledge, making progress, huge kind of balance point in the structure right there. So, right. Yeah, negative GEX as well. So that just means a ton of short-term positioning sit there with the lower strike. Yeah, so keep in mind, right, below 6,900, kind of the first spot, and kind of a huge level after that is 68.85, this strike right here. So if we do get that, downward kind of sweeping motion that we just described, and be cognizant of that could be the lower bound for the day. So it's going to be really important to understand kind of what price action is doing, and if we're seeing, right, kind of a larger sell-off, or, kind of evidence of just kind of trickling lower, then it could be a stop sweep type run. So if that doesn't make sense, feel free to chime in. Then above 6,900, 6,930, right, just kind of a choppy transition zone, so be cognizant of that. And then if we get above 6,930, then obviously, hopefully progress to move higher up to 6,955 is plus GEX in the day, so to the key upside target. But right now, kind of not in the picture at the moment, just because given where we're opening. So it's going to be really important to understand kind of what the market trend model is doing on an intraday basis, right? Are we seeing kind of filter tick selling? Are we seeing just kind of flat action, filter tick buying? That's going to be very important. And then what the cumulative tick is doing as well intraday, which informs the filter tick. What else we got, right? So, pre-market low is going to be a big level as well. It just always is. And there's decent confluence with that and 6,900. So just be cognizant of that. I'm going to 68.85, 68.85. 68.85. I'm gonna be cognizant of that. So yeah, just kind of three key levels, right? So, to the upside, you're starting to interact with a lot of pre-market action, prior day action. So not kind of as exciting unless we're able to get above 69.30. But at the same time, right, selling premium or whatever, right? Like if we hold 6,900, then that could be a good area that, hey, we're likely not to go below that level for the rest of the session, assuming we see price action, right? Confirming that move higher, the vol M trending higher, not seeing that put speculation below 69.30, market trend model trending higher, all that good stuff. But right, we are about 30 seconds into the session right now. So, we like to wait 15, 30 minutes, let the book clear, and then we're going to focus on this. So, that's hence why we're doing pre-market prep right now too, because we really don't care what's happening at this moment in time. But doing the rounds through the rest of the pre-market prep, right? Starting with SPXA complex, right? If you're new to Gamma Edge, we focus on the options markets. Not that you have to trade options to benefit from what we have here, but the options markets are becoming a very important part of modern market structure. And so, right, we need to understand what the position is, doing it from there. Whether you trade stock, futures, options, whatever, you can benefit from this stuff. So SPX, that's what we focus on in terms of kind of setting our swing trading compass, which is what we're going to go through. We just went through 0 DTE. So SPXA, right, that's a cruise ship, above 68.80. That's just the key level we want to maintain. Call dominated above and below spot price, so looks good. Looking at NetStat, right, this is a summarization of 3D surface models. So 3D surface models can sometimes be tough to look at. We just have a summarized little chart like this. You have each of the 4 key Greeks. You have what the key strikes are. So think of the peaks and valleys in the mountain. And then you have an aggregate of all the Greeks above and below spot price. So left-hand plane is below spot price. So this is a sum of all deltas below spot price. You can think of it as below spot price summing of all those deltas. Or as another example, gamma charm. So charm, a right-hand plane above spot price. That's a sum of all of this stuff right here. Just a way to visualize it for yourself. So we can see on the SPXA complex, obviously call dominated. Charm is beneficial, meaning a tailwind on the longer time frame, longer complex. So that is all good to see. Vanna net fairly neutral, so not a ton to talk about there. So net SPXA looks fine. We have some other, supplemental tools that we like to use. You guys can go through that. Looking at SPXP here, we're looking at the top quartile of open interest. So synthetic open interest, think of that as a distribution of speculation. So we're looking at the top quartile of where that resides. That represents 83% of all open interest. And so, yeah, kind of the key strikes we kind of have is 6905, 6900, right, where we're opening right now. That's the bottom of the deck or the drunken sailor range for 0DT. Also a key level on the SPX complex we're looking at here. So, right, call dominated above the spot price. That looks fine. But again, flirting with the key zone that, bulls want to see. Bulls want to see this zone right here maintained, right? So if we lose 6900, start to see a sell-off in the market trend model, all that good stuff, then, could be a little bit of a short-term trend reversal. So just be cognizant of that. Also kind of timely, if you tuned in last night, we were talking about how, SPX could look a little bit extended when looking at the GEX ratio, the true zeros for SPXP. So, something you may want to go review. Talked about it kind of towards the end of open mic last night. Because there's a question just kind of where on the sine wave curve we were. And so we just kind of went through a couple different tools just to show where that was. Doesn't mean we have to collapse here, but at the same time, right, the market's had a very nice move higher. So a little bit of consolidation is not crazy. Yeah, GEX ratio 1.5, a more manageable level there. And then, yeah, we hit on 0DT structure. So, yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions on the overall process. So, I mean, overall, just to put it, obviously, 0DT is different than swing trading, right? So, 0DT, we obviously have our system. We have the levels. We have the zones that we're looking at. And then swing trading is nice confluence. Swing trading in terms of what those zones are we're looking at offers nice confluence with 0DT as well. So, yeah, I mean, we're ultimately, right, simply put, we want to see 6,900 hold. We want to see market trend model continue to move sideways to higher. If you're bullish, that is. Then obviously, if you're bearish, you just want to see a collapse. You want to see filter tick selling come in. You want to see 6,900 be definitively lost. And away we go from there. Going to swing trading a little bit more here. We're going to get into our scatter plots really quick. Keep in mind, right, GM Edge swing trading, we have the P-Transit plus GEX 100% mechanical strategy. And give me 1 second. Do you have the... All right, sorry, I'm back. Okay, so we have the P-Transit plus GEX strategy. This was not updated for our entries today, but I can go find those and post those, so that's not an issue. You guys all know how to do that. So we have that strategy, right? Then we have the wheel strategy. So, we post those entries and exits. That's just a scan that we have. So there's two easy strategies, right? Those have a long bias to them, and those are turned on because our bullish momentum indicator with the market trend model is turned on as well. That turned on right at this point right here on December 23rd. Obviously, right, if this is new to you guys, it's not going to make sense. I'll hit on in a second how you can make sense of it. Obviously, if you're in the Game Edge community, all this stuff is fine. So I can't explain just everything right now in a pre-market prep setting. But if you guys have questions, I'm happy to, when I'm done going through this stuff, happy to address those questions and spend as much time on educational topics as you want to. Going back to the scatter plot here. So this is more of a discretionary basis. We're just looking at good risk to reward opportunities and favorable stocks that are likely to move up, just given what their structure is. I shouldn't say likely to move up, but like they have the proper bullish structure to move up. Obviously, if the market overall is selling off and 70% of stocks follow the broad market. So they may succumb to that, but that's not the point. The point is to have a repeatable process, right? And then, some days it's just not going to work, but most days over time it is going to work. So here we're looking at call dominated stocks, and out of the thousands of stocks out there, we whittled it down to this population here. I know it's a lot, but we can further whittle it down because something I didn't draw, which I can draw here, is kind of our strike zone of where we're interested in looking at. So it'd be something like this. The reason I do this is because on the y-axis here is distance to PGEX, which is our upside profit target. And then on the y-axis or the x-axis is distance to P-trans, which is our key upside acceleration zone. So all the stocks in this quadrant are above P-trans but below plus GEX. So it's above our upside acceleration zone but below our profit target. From here, we just want to find those opportunities that offer good risk to reward, hence in the box. Like looking at Bill as an example, that's almost 9 reward to 0.5 risk, meaning it has 0.5 downside plus GEX, and P-trans is, 0.5% downside to P-trans and, almost 9% upside to plus GEX. That's a pretty good opportunity there. MU, same thing, 7-to-1 risk to reward. Twilio, 6-to-1. Schlumberger, 5-to-1. Affirm, Corning, Blackstone, DKNG, DraftKings. You guys get the idea, right? So it's just a very simple way to curate your watch list to, quality stocks that you see. And then these stocks over here, these are below P-trans and below plus GEX. So, if you're kind of, interested in catching names that are more risky because they're not above P-trans yet, but, you could catch that acceleration through P-trans, like looking at SMH, for an example. It has 1% to be above P-trans, and then it has 7% to plus GEX, which return 6% when it moves through P-trans. So, that's another opportunity. These stocks could be interesting here. If you do get that move above P-trans, then ultimately you'd be risking against P-trans. So let me know if that's clear or not, if that's making sense. If you guys need to visualize that, I'm happy to show you that as well. It's pretty simple, right? We have TradingView scripts that I need to upload real quick. Yes, keep in mind TradingView scripts need to be updated once a day. There's no automated connection between outside folks like Gamma Edge and TradingView. So you just simply make a quick indicator out of it, copy, paste, and then bam, you're updated. So pretty simple. Then here's what I'm talking about, right? Palantir, where'd it go? So Palantir right here, has 1%, 2% or whatever, 1.5% to P-trans, decent amount to plus GEX. And we can see that here, sitting above P-trans right now at 190, plus GEX at 200. So if it can get above 190, show some respect to that level, then potentially can be playing for that move up to 200. So that's kind of how we think about it, how we look for those quality opportunities. Does that make sense to everybody? Hopefully it does. Let me know if you guys have any more questions. Done. So something, right, you'll see, key lessons. So we have lessons for everything that we talk about. We're big on education. One of those things that kind of an offer for you guys that if you're not familiar with Gamma Edge, not in the community yet, is if you go to GameEdge.us, go to free courses, go to the Game Edge Fast Pass. This is our entire education platform. We basically just give it away for free. Well, not basically, we do give it away for free. So here you're going to learn kind of a background on why we believe options markets matter, why Game Edge exists, but then more importantly for you, we break down all of the tools we've developed, why we've developed them, how to actually use them in plain English. So yeah, that's all of our tools, all of our systems, strategies, frameworks, everything all documented in here. Yes, it's going to take a little bit of work on your end to have the discipline to go through it because it's probably going to be new to you. So you need to be asking questions. We have a lot of great members like Chuck as an example. He scheduled multiple Zoom meetings, asking all the right questions, right? So that's just kind of the level of dedication you have. If not, then you're ultimately wasting your free trial. And if you subscribe, you're gonna be wasting money because you're not gonna know how to use this stuff. So yeah, that's why we built this. Spent a ton of time. Obviously, it can be better. It can always be better, but this is our best effort we've given to date. So yeah, I encourage you to take advantage of it. So with that, not seeing many comments in the comment section. So either I'm God's gift to explaining things, or no one's watching, or you guys are shy this morning. I'm just gonna start going through some stonks here then. Whatever, everyone's going crazy over silver. Yeah, I mean, if you guys are expecting silver to go parabolic forever, then like you guys are just nuts. What's gold doing? Gold getting smoked. Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks like garbage. Let's look at MSTR, just because why not? Oh. Yeah, I mean, something to look at on silver. So this is our GEX ratio. This is a measure of cumulative call relative to cumulative put gamma. You can see on Friday. Think of it like a put call ratio, but it's a little bit better because it has a time element to that via gamma. So you can see on Friday that ratio got to 7, which was 7-1 in favor of the calls. So like this is like extreme greed. We've never seen more greed than we've seen at this level. Like super overheated. So yeah, that's just a representation of the tool and how to use it. Like, yeah, Friday when you saw the level this high, like I don't know, you're being super greedy if you're continuing to be in the name, or at least not taking some kind of profits on that name with a level that high. So just one way to use that tool. Sorry, my wife's calling me. Give me a second. If you guys got questions, drop them in the chat. I can get to them after this. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Hey Vish, yeah, let me get to the scatter plot if you're still there. So it doesn't show. It shows percentage. Yeah, no, it does show the percentage from P transit, percentage from plus Gex. So if you look at that, like Bill, um, right? So here the legend currently below plus Gex, so it has roughly 9% up to plus Gex and roughly 1% down to P trans. Does that make sense? But you can infer from this what the risk to reward is because we're using the dual axis there. So I'm going to. Okay, sweet. Yeah, Ollie, we showed that earlier. I'll get to it again. It's like 1.5 right now, so still elevated a little bit. SPX going to Kex ratio right here. Yeah, so we can see, right, is that 2, now it's at 1.5. So yeah, keep in mind, a little bit of divergence between price moving higher, ratio moving lower. Obviously, I guess spot price did move lower in the pre-market. Right now we're looking at, it's still, flirting with 5,900. So yeah, that is what it is right now. The other thing we noted last night was the true delta gamma zero. Let me go find it. 12. When did I run it? I ran it last night. Here. So yeah, here's the true zeros for SPXP. You can see, historically we don't drift too far from those levels, and right now we're super above. So again, spot price. One of these has to either spot price has to come down or this ratio has to spike up. Generally, this ratio doesn't spike up like that crazily, so makes sense for spot price to consolidate to move a little bit lower here. That doesn't mean that we're out of this, nice move higher, but a little bit of breather makes sense. So again, not to say we can't go higher, but it's just developing that situational awareness and understanding where we are and kind of using it as a dimmer switch of in terms of should I be super aggressive here or should I not be as aggressive? So that's the whole reason for it. Yeah, give me a second. I need to. Come on. There we go. Just looking at this. Here I'm just looking at some positions that I'm in right now. So Amgen, V. CRM looking good. It's basically there, so take that off. CBRE looks fine. APO looks fine. Amgen looks fine. Google. It goes below P-Trans, not ideal. Where am I? My short strike's at 300, so it's well below 0 gex in trans, so not too worried about that position right now. Really, I'm just working in order at the moment, trying to close my CRM position, and that's about it. But anyways, let's try and see if there's any other quality names out there. Looking at the market trend model, looks fine for now. Here's the cumulative tick. Yeah, intraday basis, not looking the greatest. We're holding the opening print right now. Opening print's in key level. So, at this moment in time, I don't really want to put any new swings on. I want to see us hold this 6,900 level. And if we're able to, show evidence, maybe get above pre-market high, that'd be more interesting to put some more positions on potentially. Looking at ABD, this one looks pretty good, right? It's above P-Trans, holding opening print. That looks interesting. Maybe get above Friday's high. We failed there in the pre-market, but see if we can get above that. Into it. Amazon. Yeah, Amazon is nice consolidation. See if we can get above Friday's high. That'd be constructive to see. Rocket. I just like the consolidation in this name. Let's see if it can break above that. But yeah, looking at our scatter plot for a moment. I don't even know what cart is. Maple Bear. Buddy. Over here. Bill, another one. Got MU. Yeah, MU is pretty. It's had a pretty big push here in the pre-market. Yeah, I'm betting you, buddy. Looking at NVIDIA. NVIDIA, see if we can hold COTMP. Oftentimes a lot of these, big names, individual equities at COTMP is a key level on an intraday basis. So holding it right now. Let's see if it holds it again or not. Tesla, selling off today. Not interested in that name to the long side right now. Palantir, like we said, that was below P-Trans anyways, so not super interested in that. AMD failed right at P-Trans, so that's going to be a key level. Not super interested in that until it can get above P-Trans, but if it holds that, then it could be interesting. So I'm just going to put a quick alert on that one. Hood. Man, not interested in that name. Apple. Looks fine. Come on, buddy. Amazon, we talked about that one. Google, looking fine, holding levels it should. Ideally, it gets above P-Trans. Let's just look at Google on the web app real quick. Yeah, so Google, I mean, looks fine. Call dominant, bundle spot price, 320, kind of key level to the upside there. Thing to note is, COI, which is the strike for the most absolute call speculation, is below spot price. Ideally, you want to see that above spot price. So that's kind of the one negative right now in the name. But, all in all, looks fine. Still want to hold that 300 level, which is kind of where my short strike is in the trade structure I have on in that name. Looking at Microsoft, it's below the institutional moving averages, so not super interested. But it is holding P-trans, like that's constructive to see. Let's look at Microsoft here, buddy. Yeah, it looks fine above P-trans, 500 key upside strike. So not a ton of upside, right? Kind of 2%, 2.5% right now, but still make some money off that if you want to. So yeah, not the worst name. Let's see if we can get above Friday's high. Maybe if it can move above Friday's high. We already know it held P-trans, and maybe it keeps moving higher from there. So I'm gonna mark that one. Oracle, not interested. AVGO, not interested. AVGO, look, I mean, failed right at P-trans level. So again, be cognizant of that. If you're wanting to get in there, it's below the institutional moving averages, so not that interested in the name. Meta, been a dog for a while now. Below P-trans, below 0 gags, not interested in that. Uber, been obliterated. Coin, been obliterated. ExxonMobil, I mean, looks great. Not a trade here if you're not already in the name, but good name. Same thing with JP Morgan. XYZ, name that I'm in. Seeing some intraday weakness on that name, unfortunately. Just look at this on the XYZ. Yeah, so I don't really love this name. I'm closing my position in XYZ. I just don't. It's below P-trans. Structures, whatever. I'm just going to take a little bit of profits I had in the name and run for the hills, as they say. Visa, already in this name. Lily. P-trans with plus Gex, yeah. I mean, the scanners update whenever you want it, but the strategy itself is based off of point in time scans, which run overnight. So, like this morning, you would have known last night what positions to take. Not to say like you can run P-trans with plus Gex scan right now and use those results if you want to, but those aren't necessarily the same results as what triggered for entry this morning, if that makes sense. Let me know if that doesn't make sense or not. But yes, all scans, all commands in the Discord, all that good stuff, update in real time. Near real time, I should say. So yeah, it's kind of all I got right now. Yeah, really just going to be eyeing SPX in the 6,900 level, see if we can maintain it or not. We're at 10 o'clock, so the book's cleared. Now it's just really getting an understanding of what kind of price action is doing. So keep an eye on these volume commands intraday. They're going to be your friend, helping us understand what speculation is doing. So, all right, cool. Well, with that, yeah, I mean, Vish, like stocks aren't going to change that much intraday in terms of their structure, right? Like their structure is what it is. That's not going to change intraday. So, I mean, the scans you do in the pre-market or intraday doesn't really matter. You're likely going to get the same list of names. It's really just a function then of, how are they acting above and below their levels. So hopefully that makes sense for you. So, yep, all good. All right. Well, I appreciate the time. Gonna get going. Been on here 40 minutes now. So with that, you guys have a good day. Maybe we'll be on later today. Maybe not sure. Try to, but we'll go from there. So, all right. We'll talk to you later.